The Montecito morning was heavy with the scent of jasmine, but Meghan Markle barely noticed, as she paced the terrace of her $14 million mansion, her phone gripped THTLY. The wounds from the Tyler Perry and Jessica Mulroney scandal were still raw, but a new crisis had erupted, one that struck at the heart of her family's fragile ties to the British monarchy. A scathing headline from The Sun blazed across her screen: "Betrayal at its peak, Meghan and Harry accused of exposing reconciliation plans with King Charles, igniting a palace storm." The article alleged that Meghan and Harry had deliberately leaked details of a #clandestine effort to reconcile with King Charles III, exploiting the king's goodwill to polish their tarnished public image. The supposed plan involved private letters and discreet phone #alls, mediated through a trusted intermediary, aimed at securing an invitation to Teehee Royal Christmas at Sandringham. Now, with the plan exposed, Buckingham #Palace was in an uproar. Courtiers accused the Sussexes of orchestrating a publicity stunt, while royal commentators branded their actions a calculated betrayal. The article even quoted a palace insider who claimed, "The king is heartbroken. He extended an olive branch, only for it to be waved in front of the world." Meghan's heart pounded as she read. She and Harry had indeed initiated contact with Charles, a decision born from a quiet evening weeks earlier. Over glasses of wine, Harry had shared memories of his father's warmth, how Charles had doted on Archie during their last visit to Frogmore Cottage, how he'd sent Lilibet a hand-carved toy horse for her birthday. The story stirred something in Meghan, a flicker of hope that they could mend the rift that had grown since their 2020 exit from royal life. Together, they had drafted a letter to Charles, expressing regret for the distance and a desire to rebuild trust. They entrusted it to Sir Edward Langley, a retired diplomat with ties to both Montecito and the palace, believing his discretion was ironclad. But now, the letter's contents, or at least a twisted version of them, were splashed across tabloids. The title detailed private sentiments. Harry's longing for his chill #dren to KNO their grandfather, Meghan's offer to host Charles in California. It felt like a violation, as if their most vulnerable hopes had been weaponized. Meghan's thoughts raced. Had Sir Edward betrayed them? Or had someone closer, perhaps within the #WN circle, sold the story? Inside, Harry was in the living room, building a fort with Archie and Lilibet. Their laughter contrasted sharply with the storm brewing in Meghan's mind. She joined them, forcing a smile, but Harry's eyes caught hers. "What's wrong?" he asked Ed, sensing her tension. She handed him the phone, and as he read, his face hardened. "This wasn't us," he said firmly. "We wanted this to stay private." The couple retreated to their office, where they pored over the article. The accusations were relentless. Meghan was painted as a master manipulator, using the #reconciliation to distract from the Tyler Perry and Jessica Mulroney fallout, while Harry was portrayed as a naive pawn in her schemes. Worse, the article hinted that the leak had come from Archie's inner circle, naming a former PR consultant, who had recently left under murky circumstances. Meghan's stomach churned. She remembered the consultant, Rachel Wells, who had seemed loyal, but had clashed with Meghan over the direction of With Love, Meghan. Had Rachel, feeling slighted, sold their secrets? As the day unfolded, the scandal gained momentum. X was ablaze with hashtags like #Sussex Betrayal and #Palace Fury. Paparazzi #Z Swarm #D Montecito, their lenses glinting from the hills. A statement from Buckingham Palace was curt: "His Majesty does not comment on private matters," but the silence spoke volumes, amplifying the narrative of betrayal. Across the ocean, Prince William was rumored to be furious, reportedly urging Charles to sever all contact with the Sussexes. Meghan and Harry convened their team, a mix of loyal aides and crisis management experts. They traced every step of their outreach to Charles, scrutinizing emails and call logs. Sir Edward swore he had guarded the letters with his life, but he admitted to storing them on a shared server during a transatlantic trip. A hack, perhaps? Or an inside job? The UN hashtag certainly gnawed at Meghan, who felt the weight of every Des's ion she'd made since stepping back from royal duties. Determined to fight back, Meg #Han proposed a bold move, a live interview on their actual platform, unfiltered and direct. Harry hesitated, wary of escalating the conflict, but agreed. "We can't let them rewrite our story," he said. The interview, streamed to millions was raw and emotional. Meghan spoke of her hope for her children to know their heritage, her pain at seeing their intentions misconstrued. Harry defended their sincerity, his voice hashtagging as he spoke of his father. "We reached out in good faith," he said. "If that's been twisted, it's not on us." The interview shifted the narrative. Supporters rallied, with "We stand with Meghan" trending globally. But the palace remained silent #T, and whispers of a deeper rift persisted. Late that night, as Meghan tucked Lilibet into bed, her phone buzzed with a private message from an unknown number. It was a single line: "Check Rachel's laptop." The next day, their team uncovered evidence that Rachel had accessed Sir Edward's server before resigning, selling encrypted files to a tabloid. The discovery was a small victory, but the damage was done. Standing on their balcony, Meghan looked #T at the Pacific, Harry's arm around her. The scandal had exposed their vulnerabilities, but it also clarified their resolve. They would protect their family, their truth, no matter he cost. As the stars emerged, Meghan whispered, "We'll get through this." Harry nodded, his grip tightening. The storm might rage.